First, we have to notice that you look at it from a negative perspective. Once you notice it, then you have opportunity to reframe it.
The concept of reframing, which I think is really a critical parenting tool, but it's also a critical tool for just getting through life. Maybe spend a little time talking about what you mean. You have a chapter in here about reframing, but it's...
Let me give you the simplest example. There's the simplest example. Let's say somebody comes to you, puts a gun to your head and say you have to run 26 miles. Okay, and you're like, God, I have to do this, and it's, you're forced to do this, right? And you're doing it, you're dreading doing this, right? But then if you think about it, millions of people run marathons every year, and nobody, because they chose to do that, right? So a lot of times, it's really how you look at things. Like a lot of times, which, when, like another example, you're stuck in traffic, and you are dreading this because there is a warm meal sitting at home waiting for you. So now you feel horrible. But at the same time, you can reframe it and say, I have time to listen to my favorite podcast for the next 30 minutes. So suddenly this, instead of being stuck in traffic, you have time for yourself to spend, to listen to your favorite podcast. So this is just some of the examples of reframing, but it's incredibly powerful. Again, little tweaks. But, and I would argue the Stoic philosophy, it's really, I would call it like a Stoic practice. Because I sound like I do. It's you have to practice this because it doesn't come naturally to us. Right. I think the kind of dreading that you're stuck in traffic, that's the natural behavior for us. But then teaching ourselves that you have to reframe it, and you can noticing that you are. First of all, you have to notice. First of all, you have to notice that. You look at it from a negative perspective. Once you notice it, then you have opportunity to reframe it.
And you talked about the fact that we have chores that we often have to do that are just not chores that we look forward to doing. They're an imposition on our time, they're an imposition on our day, what have you. But you can reframe that imposition as a positive, and you start to look forward to being able to do it.
The perfect example is that I used to look at driving my kids to school as a chore. And because I wanted to get to work as soon as possible. But then I realized that at some point they grow up. In fact, somebody did the math and found that by the time your kids are in high school, you spend 93% of the time you're ever going to spend with them. 93% of the time. So once they're off school, because when they live with you, you see them all the time. The second they get out of the house, you start seeing them a tiny fraction of what you've seen them before. So, once I realized that at some point they grow up, which is, by the way, that's another Stoic concept, negative visualization. I realized that's finite. Like Hannah, my daughter Hannah is, she's in 11th grade, so I'm probably going to drive her to school another 200 something times. And after that, she'll be driving herself to college. And so now, every single day when I drive Mia, Sarah, and Hannah to school, actually, in all honesty, Hannah drives us both now. But I treasure those moments. And now, so it's a reframing. And also what happens now, when I'm in the car with them, I'm fully present. Okay, so I'm giving full attention. And so that's another example of reframing. Yeah. Something I used to dread doing, now I love doing.
Yeah.
Hey, thank you for watching this video. If you want to learn more about life, classical music, philosophy, and investing, make sure to subscribe to my articles and visit investor.fm. Thank you.